Hello, everyone. We will kick things off in just a moment, give everyone a chance to join. Okay. All right. Welcome, everyone, to today's session, A Beginner's Guide to Administering Marketing Cloud Engagement. I am thrilled to be introducing two amazing speakers, Kirsten Schelau and Chris Zullo. And with that, I will pass it over to Chris and Kirsten to kick us off.
Awesome. Thank you for that introduction. Kirsten, do you want to open us up?
Sure, absolutely. And just to confirm, Teresa, this is for Marketing Cloud engagement, not Marketing Cloud account engagement. So Salesforce Marketing Cloud SFMC is what we're focusing on today, not Pardot. So hopefully that answer is super, super clear. Yes, thanks for the intro, Chris. I'm Kirsten Schelau, Marketing Cloud Practice Lead here at Serconte, and really looking forward to focusing on the beginner's guide of how we can help administrators and the key tips and tricks to get you started in the right direction.
And I'm Chris Zullo. I am also a marketing practice lead for a different organization, All Cloud, and looking forward to helping you all get started on your journey. Right. So this would not be possible without all our wonderful sponsors. So just want to say thank you to all our amazing sponsors. As you can see here, if you get a chance, please connect with them, see how they can help you with your marketing technology and strategy needs. And with that, we will move along to our agenda.
Thanks, Chris. So when we think about today's agenda and really like what's in it for me, we're going to focus on the overview. So just a level set on what Marketing Cloud is, focusing on the administrative responsibilities along with skill set and maybe ways that you typically hire for these types of folks. We're also going to go through an overview of, what are the things you need to be doing. So from users, business units to security considerations, all of those things, we're going to walk through them. And then Chris is going to also do a live demo of the tool itself so that you can really see, behind the scenes around what it is we're doing, what are those steps. We'll go over any questions you might have. So keep those questions coming in the chat. Also, the more you participate in chat, the more likely you're up for some swag. So people are definitely watching on that. And also then some leave behinds from a hands-on activities where Chris has broken down, these are the key steps of doing, so you can really take those back in action. Of course, this is going to be recorded. So we are going to head on our way. So when we think about Marketing Cloud, so I don't know, Teresa, if you got a sneak preview of our presentation or not, but I would say evolution of Salesforce, of different products that they've acquired and created over the years has changed. And so it can get very confusing, right? Like just what we went through of, is this Marketing Cloud engagement? What are the things? So we just wanted to have a quick level set here on what that looks like. So, when we're thinking about Salesforce, Service Cloud, you're also hearing probably more like core these days, SFDC, CRM, Salesforce. The current name is Salesforce CRM. Luckily Campaign is the only thing that stayed current, I would say, out of this list. But when we talk about Marketing Cloud, we're also talking about, the formerly known as Exact Target. That's where you've got Email Studio, Mobile Studio, also known as SFMC. They're now calling it Salesforce Marketing Cloud Engagement. And then conversely, Pardot, is still sort of known as Pardot, but what that's really known as account engagement powered by Pardot. Really, it's Marketing Cloud account engagement powered by Pardot. So it's a tongue twister, but those are the things. And then, of course, some things that we're not necessarily going to go over today, but just, for you to have the latest and greatest. Datarama is now called Intelligence. Rebel Mail used to be called Rebel, sometimes known as that. That's what the interactive email content builder piece is. Evergage became Interaction Studio. It's now been renamed Personalization. So not to be snarky, but sometimes these generic-ish names are a little confusing, and it's sort of a bit of who's on first, who's on second type of thing. And as you can see, we've also got CDP, known as Customer Data Platform. And of course, Loyalty Management is more of a straightforward one. Content Management System, CMS, that's still also a good one. But today we are talking about ExactTarget, typically been used in the past by more B2C marketers. And so really looking forward to get started. So hopefully I did not confuse you guys more, and we have a little bit more clarity. But again, if you still have questions throughout, please do not be afraid to keep those questions coming. So we first want to talk about just like CRM and also MC Marketing Cloud, right? We're now introducing another acronym in here. But again, really just thinking through these things, realizing that, for maybe a lot of the folks on this call, maybe you are already a Salesforce CRM admin, and you're looking at what does it take to be a Marketing Cloud admin, or maybe you've been handed that responsibility. It also could be inversely, but just wanted to address some of these misconceptions that you may have. So one thing that I've definitely heard, and Chris has heard, is they're the same thing. And while both parts of they both are part of the same ecosystem, meaning they're both under part of that Salesforce ecosystem. There is some overlap in that they're both being used to track leads with the ultimate goal of conversion and converting those into customers. However, like the solutions really emphasize different parts of the customer life cycle. So I think that's one that's really, really important. And then another one is, Marketing Cloud equals email. And while email is definitely the workhorse, email has one of the highest ROIs of any digital marketing channel. It's really, if you think about Marketing Cloud, it has an email functionality, but it's really a suite within a suite. So, it does not come in necessarily the 4 tiers of increasing functionality like Sales Cloud does. Instead, what a company will do is they pay a flat rate for specific marketing modules. And some of these individual modules are actually available at different tiers. But overall, marketing teams will need to select the specific modules that they need. That also can be a little confusing to say, like, what did we just buy? Did I make sure I got all of the things? And so folks like Chris and myself, we help our clients all the time with, did you get the right thing? My Salesforce person's telling me I need these things. Do you really think I need to? We can absolutely point you in the right direction. And so just wanted to call that one out. Another maybe misconception and or maybe point to call out is that users, right? The users of both systems are just different. And I don't mean to say one is better than the other, but the statement that I'm going to make may skew one way or the other. And you might tell, where my background's from. For CRM, it's really like the sales teams are your members. So, they're using the tool more to move leads through the system and really close deals. Where your Marketing Cloud users very well may be very highly technical, even with developer mindset. So that may be a juxtaposition, especially if you're a CRM admin dealing with salespeople versus then you have some Marketing Cloud people that are, wanting to code things. They're writing SQL queries. That's very commonplace for your Marketing Cloud users. So they're a little different. And also, like I would say, the number of users, right? You're gonna have a heck more users in CRM than you typically are gonna have on Marketing Cloud. One other thing I'd like to talk about is push to prod. And that development process. So while you definitely can have sandboxes made available in Marketing Cloud, many times you're building in prod. And the reason is because there's not necessarily a very easy way to push things from a sandbox environment to a production environment. When they give you a sandbox, it's really a production environment. They may just be restricting the number of emails you can send. So I understand for your traditional CRM admins, building things in prod seems scary, but it really isn't, because a lot of the things that you're building, you still have to push a final button to make them go. So that's just a different shift in mindset. And then the very last one is standalone. So both of these systems you can use as standalone systems, depending upon the company needs. You know, if your needs are primarily you want to improve quality and maybe the speed of the sales funnel, you probably would just be focusing on CRM. On the other hand, right, you can absolutely use Marketing Cloud by itself, unlike its friend and family member Pardot. A lot of the times you always see that connected with CRM. With Marketing Cloud, a lot of the times those are, you know, for retailers, for e-commerce, they're connected to a website, they're connected to an ERP system, they're connected to something completely different because they're not really using CRM in that same way. And so for those folks that are maybe wanting to reach the right customer at the right time with the right message, Marketing Cloud can absolutely be a great standalone solution. However, if you're really wanting to have integrated software and more control over lead generation and overall deal making, this is an absolute perfect marriage of why you want to use Marketing Cloud and CRM. And I would definitely say the trend is that we're seeing more organizations have Marketing Cloud, integrating them, whether that's Service Cloud, whether that's Sales Cloud, aka Core, right? You're definitely seeing more of that joining together and being part of the same tech stack. So hopefully those misconceptions will give you maybe a little bit more insight into how you can maximize and think about Marketing Cloud that may be different for how you typically are managing your Sales Cloud instances. And this is just a definition that I found from Salesforce. It is really interesting when you Google Salesforce Marketing Cloud, all the different things. I found so many wrong ones. Maybe I should have put those out there. But at the end of the day, what Salesforce's positioning is on Marketing Cloud is it connects discrete interactions from any channel on the customer's terms. So whether that's email, which is a huge one, you can also be doing SMS. You can be doing direct mail. This idea of regardless of the channel, you can really meet the customer where they are using Journey Builder, which is a really powerful tool to nurture depending upon where a customer is on the customer journey is super important. So again, those customer behaviors in real time, creating more intelligent communications is the one I would say real differentiator of Marketing Cloud as a whole compared to other marketing automation systems. And so yes, it does automation just like, you know, CRM. At the end of the day, it's not CRM, it's different. So I'll get off my soapbox around how they're different. And I want to focus on just some considerations when it comes to the admin. So some key responsibilities of, I think, someone that's going to be a successful Salesforce admin that we advise clients and prospects alike is you're definitely going to have and need cross-functional collaboration with marketing and IT. A lot of the times this individual doesn't necessarily fit in either. You know, it's almost like that marketing ops person, that MarTech, right? You understand marketing, you understand technology. And so very much you may be on an island by yourself and you're really being that translator. Other times you're living maybe in IT as its own group. So again, having cross-functional collaboration, having good relationships internally is going to be super important. You're also going to probably be thinking about governance from a data and compliance perspective. And then also security and user management. And I'm going to put a little plug in here. Tomorrow, we've got a session around 7 tips for securing your Marketing Cloud engagement in a hybrid work environment. I think, you know, there's some of these basic security practices that have been in place, but no one's necessarily been thinking about, well, what does that look now that maybe my workforce is more of a hybrid environment? What does that look like? Are we still secure? Right? What does it mean if I'm in an organization where people are remote all the time and maybe they're using the Starbucks Wi-Fi? Like, do we need to consider VPN? So that's going to be a really great one tomorrow at 10:20 a.m. Eastern time with Mike Morris. So please check that one out. And Jennifer can go ahead maybe and send the link in the chat as well. Not to put you on the spot, Jennifer. And then also integrations is also another one, right? You're typically going to be managing integrations with the systems, not only just Marketing Cloud and sales CRM, which Chris will talk about in a little bit, but just other integrations that might have to happen. And then also change management, right? I think that goes without saying. Also, from a common background and skill set, we definitely expect them to be tech savvy. They likely are sometimes an owner of another Salesforce product. And or they have comparable marketing technology experience as well. And so with that, you have to think about like, well, how are we going to hire for this person? What does this look like? A a lot of the time, I would say when we're implementing Marketing Cloud for folks, they're not thinking about the admin. There's no one necessarily internally that's going to admin this. So there's two ways you can do it. You can tap a super user, so someone that like really knows the system, and admins maybe just a portion of their job. I think that has its pros and cons. Number one, they're going to absolutely make sure that the system is doing what they need to do, but they might be a little bit lighter on like the governance, the compliance, the security, the managing of installed packages. That's probably not going to be their jam. They're probably not going to care about it as much or give it as much attention as it needs. Or you can think about a CRM admin. And so what really would happen is if it's a CRM admin that's maybe owning now both Marketing Cloud and Sales Cloud, they're probably also going to want to partner up with that super user, because they're going to have questions of like, okay, this is, as an organization, the way that we want to approach maybe this policy, that policy, security. But it's really great to have that super user as their partner, their, Robin to Batman, Batman to Robin, whoever you want to say you are. And so with that, to really say like, okay, what does that do for the user experience? What does that do for someone that's actually using Marketing Cloud? Because as a super user of Marketing Cloud in the past, having those policies being told to you without actually thinking what it means for you, and you as the end user trying to get your marketing out, can be super, super frustrating. So took a quick little video here. I think you might have to click, Chris, because I don't think I added the animation. But when you log into Marketing Cloud, this is going to be the first screen that you will see. But what you'll do is you'll go ahead and navigate to the upper right-hand corner, click on Setup, and this really is the home for people that are becoming admins of the system. You'll see that there's a ton of resources. There's also a bit of a quick start checklist that you can reference if you're like, gosh, where do I even need to start if you're just starting out? And then also if maybe it's something that you're inheriting, let's go through and see what are those steps. So that is something that definitely has been enhanced over the years. Chris and I can both tell you this is not what it used to look like back in the day in the interface. So definitely feel free to use those and really guide you on your journey. But ultimately for administrators, that's going to be your home place. Yep.
Sorry. It just keeps wanting to jump ahead. All right. So hopefully I didn't go too far.
No, you didn't. You're still on navigation. So if you want to go to the next slide, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, technical difficulties. Blame the guy in the chair. It's my fault. I think it did go too far now, or no, I can't tell.
We're good. We're good. We're
Sorry.
good. All good. All good. I mean, guys, this is just showing you that we are live. This is not a recording. We're just playing back for you. I also see that Mike Morris is in the chat. Mike Morris, if you want to go ahead and do a link to your session tomorrow, feel free to do so. The man, the myth, the legend, Mike Morris. Well, maybe Mike's doing that. I just want to talk about one of the main things that you'll also be doing. One of the key tasks is overall roles and permissions within the org. And so just wanted to level set on what those actually mean, and then going into some out of the box stuff. And then I'm going to stop talking and hand it over to Chris, and then he can handle his slides and go from there. Just giving you a hard time, Chris. So from a roles perspective, a role is really a collection of permissions that allows or denies actions on a specific item or property. It's not necessarily, if the permission is not in the set, the permission has the same effect as a deny. So again, it's very much pass fail. I have this permission, I don't. And then from a permissions perspective, permissions is a tool that you can use to control users' access to screens in the application. So you can set, each permission to like allow or deny. One thing though to call out though is when you explicitly deny permission, always overrides other permissions. So if you are tweaking through user permissions, and you're like, why is this still not working? Why this person can't get those things? Look to see if you have something that's overriding other things. That's typically where your issue may lie. So then the next slide, we want to go through just the out-of-the-box roles and permissions that are made available to you. So you'll see that there's a ton of these. You can assign users up to one of 5 standard roles, and then more specific permissions within Marketing Cloud account as well. These absolutely can get super, super granular. You can really restrict features and applications, but I encourage you not to do that. It becomes a bit of a rabbit hole, I will say. You can get so far down into the customization that you need to like look back and be like, where the heck am I? So I say, if anything, really look at these, make sure you're not, I mean, I want to say that everyone is special. Yes, everyone is special, but when it comes to roles, I'm sure there's a role here for you that's going to work for you. So of course, you as an administrator, that would be the role that you're going to be doing, because ultimately you're going to be assigning users and managing those channels and apps. This role applies really to every type of marketing functionality except Email Studio. We have more on that in the next slide. The Marketing Cloud viewer, right? Pretty self-explanatory. They're going to be wanting to viewing cross-channel marketing activities and results. It's generally the more restrictive role. So this I think of sometimes as people that that maybe want to be in the know, but you don't want them building anything. You don't want them touching anything. Maybe there's someone that says, I just, want to be able to check in every now and then on, what's going on. They're never going to, they have no business being in here. Just give them Marketing Cloud viewer. It's fine. It doesn't allow them to do much, but they'll say that they have access and it'll make everyone feel better. And then the Marketing Cloud channel manager, right? Like I think this is going to be your super users. They really are creating and building, right? These are the people that should have access to the system. It permits the users to create, send, and monitor journeys as well. And those permissions also include reports. The Marketing Cloud Security Administrator is one that I don't see as often used. I do think, though, the larger the organization and maybe where you really want to divide and conquer those things, that can be a really helpful one. They're the one that's usually getting user activity and alerts. Again, it's really someone that's really just focused on Marketing Cloud security. So if your administrator is the same person that's also doing security administration, the high-level administration one will suffice, and so they don't need that. And then last but not least on here is the content editor and publisher. So they're the ones that are, creating and delivering messages. It permits them to do creation of emails. They can send marketing journeys and messages, but it doesn't allow any access to reports. So those are just very much from like a high level Marketing Cloud role perspective. Now, there's also more ones that you can do, and that's on the next slide, around specifically Email Studio. And, Chris, what are your thoughts on this? I feel like eventually this is sort of going to merge together. It's just steps of legacy products. What's your thought there? I'm putting you on the spot.
God, I hope so.
It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, and unless I'm just super slow. It's still confusing. You have to do both, but you have to do both, right?
You do.
So in addition to this, just the overall cloud of Marketing Cloud, there's then the Email Studio role. And of course, there are more permissions on the other studios, Mobile Studio, Automation Studio. Like I said, try to work with what you have first. And then if it's not working, then start tweaking is always the recommendation. So of course, the administrator, they have access to everything in Email Studio, including setup, email data, email creating, and also data extensions. Another one, so maybe they are a Marketing Cloud channel manager, but you only want to give them content creator access. So here they have access to the content, shared folders, but they don't have access to any administrative features or data. So this may be for folks that like literally they're your copywriters, they're creatives, they're building your emails, but maybe who manages data is completely separate. And that would be then your data manager, where they have access to everything in Email Studio except the email content. So sometimes we see folks where you've got a person that's building the emails, entering the copy, adding the images, adding the links, and then you have someone that's a data manager that then does the other side of it, making sure it goes to the correct list. There's the correct segmentation. They're probably working in Automation Studio, doing maybe some SQL, as well as then managing those data extensions. So you can very much see those as complementary roles. And then also the last one being analyst. So this person really just has access to the tracking features in email. So like I said before, we'd recommend that you try to use what's out of the box and then figure out what are the things that aren't working for you. Try to set people in roles, even if it's like, hey, I'm going to think through what this person's going to be. If they are this person, let me go ahead and figure out what I have access to and confirm that I have everything I need before you start, letting everything loose. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to Chris to talk a little bit more about business units and some more specifics around what it means to be an admin.
Thanks, Kirsten. And so as we kind of build off of what Kirsten's already covered from a roles and permissions, as well as the sort of how we manage and control access to various pieces of Marketing Cloud, one of the main ways that we are able to structure and organize our accounts is through business units. So if you think about from a marketing perspective, think about the parent-child campaign, we can do a similar hierarchical setup for Marketing Cloud where we can set up sort of the parent level, which would be sort of your primary business unit, and then you can have a number of child or children business units built on top of that, which is basically downstream. Now, that doesn't mean you have to do that. It just means we have the ability to support that. And so some of the common use cases for using business units, multiple business units, are geographical regions. As we continue to evolve in a world of data privacy and compliance, there's more and more regulations and expectations that things are going to be partitioned for the benefit of our customers or our constituents or whatever the context of your target audience may be. So whether that is by region or just by country, you may use that as an example. You may also have a number of brands. We know there's maybe a few conglomerates sitting out there besides big and large. For those of you who are Wall-E fans, you can use this to manage the various brands. And again, the main thing is with Marketing Cloud, unlike the core sibling of the equation, Marketing Cloud, we use use business units to basically intentionally create sort of silos of data. Because with the roles and permissions that Kirsten covered, that is what can you do? It's a pass-fail. You either can do something or you can't do something. We don't have data-specific rules and regulations, and business units is the primary reason we're able to basically break out data to basically isolate it from other users, but also for compliance reasons, you may need to do that. So those are just some of the key use cases for business units within Marketing Cloud. Another area, as we talk about data, is the FTP, the use of FTP. So if we're not integrated with Salesforce, or even when we are integrated with Salesforce CRM, we may have other external data sources where we need to get data into the Marketing Cloud. We're also able to use FTP to get data out of the Marketing Cloud. And just to kind of give you a little bit of a high level, FTP, hopefully I'm not getting this wrong because it's kind of old school, file transfer protocol is actually what FTP is short for. It does actually have words behind it. And so we get 10 out of the box per business unit, which MID is kind of short for. And so we can set up a number of users, and we can use that again to pull and push data out of Marketing Cloud. It has its own secure server. So one caveat I'd like to kind of highlight is, as of current state, it doesn't go out and pull anything off of any external servers. The data's got to get to Marketing Cloud's FTP server, and from there it can do all the magic if it's pulling in, and vice versa. If it's pushing out to the FTP server, you've got to retrieve it from there. It's kind of it meets you at the bridge, and so you just got to have the proper connection through the account. And so we got enabled, disabled, and locked. Enabled means it's active, it's ready to use. Disabled means we need to kind of re-enable that. And then locked means you got to talk to your account executive. So just a high level on the FTP. And so I know, a big thing around the connection with the Salesforce. So Marketing Cloud Connect is really what makes all the magic happen from a data perspective between the core clouds on the Salesforce CRM platform in the Marketing Cloud platform because it is a separate stack. It is a separate platform. It is a very powerful platform, but we do need to connect it with the CRM through this integration. And this is an install package, so that's the good news. I will highlight again, not to throw shade or anything, but it's not fully enabled. So there are pages that you may need to use your navigational arrows within your browser, but otherwise you want to make sure the important thing is that the connector is in place for the data, not necessarily for navigation within the Salesforce CRM. And so, we have the default subscriber key is generally going to be, it's going to default to the Salesforce ID unless we set it otherwise. As far as the install package is concerned, you want to always have basically one of each API user. You want to have a dedicated Marketing Cloud API user on the Marketing Cloud side, talking to a dedicated CRM API user on the CRM side. Main reason is if something breaks, which it happens, it'll be a lot easier to triage. Also, if you are sharing that and something on another connection breaks, well, then you've got that much more legwork to dig through and figure out what actually broke the integration. Why isn't something working as expected? So for your own sanity and for the integrity of your integration, it is strongly recommended you only have a dedicated API user on each side to make this connection happen. And then with the use of connected app, again, reinforces the security between the two clouds to ensure proper data protection. I think I'm running low on time, so I'm going to try and get to the demo real quick. Data management. Marketing is a lot more than just the pretty content. And so it's important if your data isn't right, it doesn't matter how amazing the content that you're putting out is, it's not going to get where it needs to go, or it's not going to be as engaging because you're getting to the wrong audience. So the biggest thing with Marketing Cloud is it is line of sight, but less is more. Put in what you need. If you're not using it for creating segments or personalizing the content, it doesn't have a purpose. So don't overdo it. Keep it simple and just kind of move along. Another important thing with the data, if you are an administrator for the Marketing Cloud, it's a great idea if you know what your contractual contact limits are, and to pay attention with that, because there is no built-in solution within the platform that tells you your usage. The only way you can truly do that is either know what the number is and you monitor it manually, or you got to make a phone call to your account executive to have them tell you. So if you want to kind of keep things in-house, proactively keep an eye on your usage from a data perspective. And so
I will say though, Chris, to interrupt you.
Scared me. It kind of came in loud. Sorry.
Sorry. This is not God. You're not dying. This is not the
It sounded like it. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, God probably is a woman, so just saying that now. I'm gonna get myself in trouble. If you don't know what your contact counts are, and you go over them, your AE will absolutely send you a message very quickly that says, hey, you're over your limits, we have to upgrade your account. I think it's basically an automated message. They're very always quick to let you know when you've gone over, but definitely the way that Chris was saying is probably better, because once you get that note, they're very quick to say, hey, let's upgrade you, or let's fix this. And that can be challenging and add pressure to your systems. But have no fear. They will definitely let you know if you're over.
I cannot wait to come back and watch this recording to watch myself jump out of my own chair. That was fantastic.
I went off script. I'm sorry, Chris.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It was it was the volume. I was like, what? I'm like, what did I do wrong? All right, back onto the script here. I kind of feel like these guys just came out, except it was Kirsten. Let's talk a little bit about permission engagement. So there's a couple of different ways to kind of approach this. There's channel permission. Do I want an email or not? Do I want mobile or not? Do I want snail mail or not? I mean, if you're doing it right and you're fully omni-channel, you probably should have a flag that says, have they opted in for direct mail? Because you know what? It's actually more exciting these days to get something cool in the mail, the real mail, than email, because the whole model flipped on its head in the last 20 years. It's just amazing. So interest, it's sort of like, why? What do I want you to contact me about? You know, do I want you to remind me about anniversaries, or could it be a contract anniversary, or could it just be, hi, I got married and I want to be rewarded. Promotions, topics, all of these, they are different. They are different. You should track these, and you should always have permission. Don't assume. Implied doesn't count. It doesn't matter. And Salesforce even has built into its platform for Marketing Cloud, when you send an email, any email content that you let go out, you have to check a box that says, I have explicit permission. It is their get out of jail free card. So do yourself a favor and make sure that you have explicit permission, and don't ever, this may upset some people, don't buy lists. That was cool back in the day. It's not anymore. I don't know if it was ever cool. It was tolerated, but it's not tolerated, and it's definitely not cool. So try to, wherever you possibly can, make sure your data is clean. You'll hear first-party data is a big thing now, or zero-party data. That is a direct connection with the people that you are targeting. And so also be aware of your local compliance needs, whether it be GDPR or CASL or CAN-SPAM, whatever. More are coming out every day. Be aware of that, prepare for that, and if need be, talk to your legal team. Make sure that you are in line with what you need to do. I'm not a lawyer. Pretty sure no one else here is. Do it above the line as much as you possibly can. And just one other thing from a data perspective. I have another session on Friday where I won't jump out of my seat, where I will dig a little bit deeper into the data within Marketing Cloud and how it impacts the Salesforce CRM org. So if you want a deeper dive from a data perspective, come see me on Friday. With that, I am going to switch over to a very abbreviated demo because we have a little bit of time left, and I want to make sure we have time for some questions. And so, pro tip, when you do a demo, preset your tabs, because I'm not really going to be clicking through all these things. I am going to just kind of quickly go through some of these tabs. And so, we got a very brief drive-by earlier from a navigation perspective. This is the home page. Here's all your major components from a Studio and Journey builder perspective, and additional advanced components. I'm not going to spend really any time here, just kind of calling that out. And then what I am going to show you now is setup. So you would get that under your name. You would click on setup. Magically, this setup screen would open up. So you'll notice the Salesforceification of the admin section within Marketing Cloud. It should look somewhat familiar. This is sort of that lightning look and feel. And so all of the things that we talked about here or most of the things we talked about here are under this left-hand panel here. We got users, where the roles that we were talking about, where and individual permissions. And again, please just stick to the roles. Don't get down into the mud with individual permissions. Roles are here. You can manage your users, business units. You have FTP. And if we're extending the platform, doing other components, we can do feature bits. There's other things that we can enable or turn off or control. All of that's here under the setup screen. And then from a navigation, you just pop up here and you can go anywhere you want. And next on our path here is, I believe, we're going to go to Contact Builder, which would be under Audience Builder. Is there something you were going to say? Because I saw you come off mute. I'm prepared for you now. Let's go.
I know. I was coming in very, very like an angel. It's an angel. So we can't actually see. We're still seeing the journey template. So I think this happened to me yesterday when I was trying to record. Now we're seeing it.
All right.
It was like some weird like lightning thing. But what you were saying was good stuff. So now we can see setup.
All right. Yeah. Again, imagine all the things I just talked about. You were up to speed with me. All that's here on the left. It should very much like Salesforce. Now we're going to switch over to the contact, and I'm going to share this tab instead. Thank you for that. That saves me a lot of headaches for tomorrow as well, or Friday, whenever that is. So under Contact Builder, this is where all the major data pieces are. FYI, you can still do things. Data extensions is kind of a shared thing between Email Studio and Contact Builder. As much as possible, do all your work here. It is not feature parity. Most things will work, but you will run into limitations or gotchas if you do some things in Email Studio and not here. So whenever possible, do it here. And so also under data sources, probably the one thing I'll try and do here on the fly here, you see synchronize. This is one of the major benefits of the Marketing Cloud Connect install package, where we can control the data coming in. You can see these 6 entities basically represent 6 objects within Salesforce. Whether they're standard or custom, they can all come, but you can control what and how much, and to a degree, how often, which is generally as low as every 15 minutes, I think as long as an hour. And so you kind of get a free pass from a data perspective. It kind of ignores most of the API governance that it applies to any other sort of integration with the Salesforce CRM. 3 more things, and we'll switch over to Q&A. I'm going to switch screen here. We got Automation Studio. So again, automation. This isn't Salesforce automation. This isn't Flow. This isn't Workflow or all the other flavors of that. But this is the workhorse within the Salesforce Marketing Cloud. And so this is where we can do a lot of really, we can run queries, we can run scripts, we can execute reports and distribution. You can send emails. There's a whole lot of things that you can do here. So as you get involved, this is really the automation engine for Marketing Cloud only, and it is not it's not an either or with Journey Builder, which I'm going to switch screen to. These are very complementary. There's a very slight overlap between the two, but they generally play very well together. They're kind of like like a brother, sister, or siblings, whatever you want to call them. They play very well together and do support one another. So Journeys is really our powerful if-then. It's kind of a if-then flowchart. It allows us to make that dynamic, provide that dynamic experience for our communications, regardless of the channel. We can jump in and out of email, mobile, advertising as well, and even external activities. So Journey Build is really cool, and probably where everything is moving towards, and really where the most investment is going within the platform from foundational enhancements. And then lastly is Content Builder, where we make all of our emails. And so that's where all the magic kind of happens from that perspective. And so you can build the building blocks tiny, create reusable templates. You can create all these various bits. Again, we don't have the time to get into all of that, but we will just want to kind of give you a quick lay of the land from that perspective. And so switching back to our tabs here, or to our slides, we do have some resources. Again, this will be all shared and linked out. These are all hyperlinked, so you don't necessarily have to go and research these real quick. But here's our toolbox of resources for you. These are all Marketing Cloud engagement specific, AKA shout out to ExactTarget, Orange Crush, and all you old school practitioners. If you're new to this, orange is our favorite color. Welcome to the club. Welcome to our party, and hope you enjoyed this. And next, we are open for Q&A with however much time we have left. Minute and a half, and go.
So there is one question posted in the Q&A right now from Donna, who's asking, is it possible to turn off Einstein from the navigation? She said she'd love to be able to hide that from franchise business units.
That's a good question. So we have My Apps and All Apps. I know you can manage through Cloud Preferences, which is under your name. haven't ever tried to get rid of it because I kind of like his cute little mustache. So I've never tried to get rid of him. I'm trying to look on the fly to see if I can control that. I don't know if you know, Kirsten.
No, I think that's a great question. I would say let us know. Yeah. No, I think I've never had anyone ask that. I can definitely go ahead and look into it myself as well.
And in our last 30 seconds, a really great question from Christy. What is your favorite studio and why?
Oh, ladies first, Kirsten.
I don't really like any of the studios. I mean, they're fine, but what I would say is like my most favorite thing. So, right, you asked me a question, I'm going to answer it differently. Would be, I think Journey Builder is the most important, right? Because you can use all the channels, right, together. So, I would say for me, Journey Builder is the best. Which technically, yes, is under Automation Studio. Yes, thank you, Agner. But I guess I was thinking from like a true like channel. I don't think Automation Studio should be its own studio. So don't get me started on that.
I love that answer. I think it's probably the most usable and user friendly. But I'm going to stick with data as the most important. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's the most important, mainly because if that's not right, nothing else is going to work. So I'm going to go with Contact Builder and the ability to control how your data works. Although if anyone Salesforce is listening, there's a few suggestions I have for making some improvements.
That's great. Well, thanks so much, Chris and Kirsten. This is a really great session. And thanks everybody who joined us today. Special shout out to our sponsors. Once again, please make sure to pop by the sponsor booth sometime during the event to show them that you care. And we hope you have a great time in your next session, and we'll see everybody soon.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.